Hello. Welcome to Mad Moms Media. Tonight we have Lois Frazier and Marjorie Depperdine. They are here to share the experience, strength, and hope around substance use and the early, untimely loss of their children.
Hmm.
So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you
This
for
is
having us.
not, you're welcome. This is not an easy subject. No, we do this to turn our pain into power and also to share to help other families who are just like us and going through this pain and they are unlike us, maybe afraid to share how they're feeling and
Mm-hmm.
suffering in silence. So we're here to help the community and other families know that they are not alone. Okay, we're going to start with you, Marjorie. Tell us a little bit about your loved one.
So my name is Marjorie, and I lost my daughter on June 28th, 2022, about 3.5 years ago. She was 25 years old, and she passed away from fentanyl poisoning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lois?
Hello, my name is Lois, and my son was 36 years old. He died from accidental death overdose fentanyl um, up in Burlington, Vermont. I was not there with him when he passed.
So either way you all can answer this question. This is for both of you.
Mhm.
How did you feel when you found out that your child, lost their life through fentanyl poisoning? Did you know that they were engaging in substance use? And
So when I found out, I got a phone call early in the morning, and the person was just crying on the other line, and I just knew it because my daughter wasn't answering the phone, and I just was like, what? And I'm just like, wow, like my whole world was just like upside down. I don't even really remember that day. I try not to go back there because it was a dark day. But when I found out that my daughter died from fentanyl poison, I'm like, how? Like my daughter don't be on mass and cast, and I can say that I said that. I said, how did that happen? She's a regular urban girl just doing her thing. I'm like, how can my daughter die from that? And then I came to find out that people are lacing these drugs, being it cocaine, being it Percocet, being it pills, anything, it's being laced. And that's what happened to her. Whatever she took that day, it was laced with fentanyl, and it killed her.
mm, Lois, would you like to
For
answer?
me, I was very, very angry when the autopsy report came in and said overdose fentanyl. Um, I was, because I'm in recovery and I had many years of recovery, and I'm saying, wow,
Mm-hmm.
no, this boy has spent most of his life in prison, and fentanyl. I was so angry, and I was ashamed to talk about it, um, because he he wasn't on drugs. You know, he was mainly a street kid, a street soldier. They were out there like um, weed, liquor,
Mm-hmm.
snorting a little coke maybe. But he spent 3 years in prison. He gets out a week and a couple of days later they find him in the hotel room, and the autopsy says overdose fentanyl. I was very, very angry.
In moments of reflection, can you share what advice you would give other parents about recognizing the signs of substance use in their children based on your own experiences?
Well, I would say you're not alone. um, it's good to talk to people because I remember like 2 weeks before my daughter died, I called Janice and I was like, something's up, going off. If something's off, like this cannot just be drinking, you know? And then 2 weeks later, my daughter was like gone, you know? And I remember calling her crying, like, Tamari is like not the same person, but I did not know this is what she was doing on her spare time until after she passed away. Everything started clicking, like the things that were going on in the household, and it was just started clicking. And that's when I was like, wow, my daughter died from this, you know. And I wish wherever she was at that day she would have had Narcan, because Narcan
Mm.
saves so many lives, you know. And sometimes when I see videos come online and people get saved from Narcan, I kind of turn it off because I feel some type of way, because
Mhm.
my daughter wasn't able to have that chance. So I kind of struggle with that. It's nothing personal to the person. I'm happy they were able to survive, but it just hurts me to the core that my daughter didn't even have that chance, you know? So, you know, just to any other parent or any other family, they're not alone. Like, we're all going through it. And this thing doesn't discriminate and it has the look, you know? Like I said, I
Mm.
used to think it was just the people on Mass and Cast. That was me putting a stigma on it. But it's kids in our neighborhood doing it, but they don't feel like they have a problem because they're doing it maybe recreationally. They feel like they know who they're getting it from. I'm not sure, but I just say everything is lace. Everything.
Mm.
Thank
Hmm.
you, Marjorie.
You're welcome.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to get honest. Me being a recovering addict, uh, I, I my house was the house where all the bad kids hung out, um, and I was on drugs, drinking. I was an addict and an alcoholic, and I raised tried to raise 5 kids on my own. In my addiction, it wasn't easy, um, but my house was the hot spot. And for a long time, I felt really guilty after I got clean, and I blamed myself for everything that had happened, you know, because my sons, I have 4 sons, and they were all selling drugs. And there was just a lifestyle of me being an addict. And I got clean. I have 25 years now. Turned my life around. I don't smoke, drink, drug. I'm not in a toxic, sick relationship. And I try to be the best that I can as a woman in the community now, you know, because I caused a lot of damage. And today I can admit that and take accountability for it. But I never in my wildest dreams would have thought my son, who'd been in prison most of his life and been a street warrior out in them streets, you know, chez vous, riding dirt bikes, you know, everybody knew him, you know, in the clubs, and he was just a money maker. He died broke. It's just sad. And today, you know, I like every now and then I'll feel guilty because of my addiction, and I blame myself for my children being in the mess that they had become as adult children in a toxic family. But it wasn't too good, you know. He died at 7 a.m. May the 5th, 22. Um, and I was sitting at my daughter's house. I felt a funny, strange. I got dizzy. I was on Facebook all night. I got dizzy, right? And 5 minutes later, this girl calls not me, but my daughter that he was with, screaming and hollering and yelling, and there was EMTs there, and she had a psych doctor there or something, and she was screaming, and my daughter, I could hear it over the phone, and she came in and she told me, and I didn't, you know how most mothers react and go crazy and scream and holler and fall out. I didn't do that. I
Mm.
was frozen. And this is what happened. The psych doctor told the girl to get off the phone. She's not supposed to be talking to us. And then a detective got on the phone and said, "Oh, we'll get back to you." And I'm on the line. He didn't even let me finish saying, "Oh, that's my son on the floor, you guys
Mm.
operating on or whatever." He just said, "We'll get right back to you." And he hung up. It was horrible. And it's happened in Burlington, Vermont at the Hilton Hotel.
Mm.
And I don't have any type of closure. I wasn't there. It was just a phone call from a young lady that he was with.
Thank you both for sharing your heart and being transparent. And interviews like this is never easy.
Mm.
Um, and we want the world to know what we are feeling and to be transparent and true to our stories and cry and be angry and do what we need to do as mothers
Mm.
um, for our children. So the next question is, do you find comfort in experiencing reminders of your child through other people? Or do these moments intensify your feelings of missing them and evoke more sadness? Would you like to answer that first, Lois?
Well, I talk to my son all the time, and I told him that this comforts me. I told him that I will always be there to watch his two kids and look
Mm.
over them. They're 13 and 10 now, and the comfort is that they look exactly like him. They're his clones. Even with his personality and his spirit, it's just like a gift from God, you know. Every time I see them two kids, I don't mind watching them. I don't mind breaking my back for them. I mean, they don't talk or discuss him.
Mm.
They're children. I guess they deal with things in their own way. And that's where I find a lot of comfort in because their mother lets me see them all the time.
Mm.
I get to babysit them. And I enjoy that, you know. Um, and I always talk to my son. I promise I'm still angry with him, that he didn't call me when he got out of jail from up there for me to come and get him. But I'm dealing with that with my man upstairs, because I felt like at one time just giving up on God.
Mm.
Because I had gotten all these years clean in recovery. I worked hard to get my clean time.
Mm.
And I thought that somehow my sons and daughters were going to get clean time along with me, but none of them ever did. They're still, doing what the rest of the crowd is doing while I'm staying clean and trying to be a decent, respectable woman of dignity and
Mm.
honor, representing my son, because it would be horrifying for me to relapse or to pick up because of his death,
Mm.
you know. So that's what I find comfort in his children.
Thank you, Lois.
I find comfort in. So my daughter was born in March and she passed in June. So twice a year I do like a celebration with my daughter's friends and my family, and that brings me so much comfort just to see the people that still come out for her 3.5 years later, and just the love that they give me and just being around them. Like wow, this is why she hung with this person or that person because they're funny as all hell. And I bond some. I I grew to have a good bond even with the males and the females. You know what I mean? Like they all respect me. I can hit them up out the blue and just be like, hey, my granddaughter needs this and that. But when the event is over, I get depressed and I'm in the bed for like 2 and 3 days and I'm like, I can't get up. I'm just in a bad place. And but I still do it. And I said to my therapist, Fanta, like the last event that I did in June, I'm like, I don't think I could do anymore. And she was like, well, then just don't do it. But I'm like, it brings me some type of peace doing it, but it's the aftermath. It's when everybody's going home. It's like something in my body. I'm just curled in the bed, just moaning and groaning, and I'm just sad. But then I snap out of it because I have a son and a granddaughter that needs me, so I don't get stuck there. But I do go through it. So her birthday's coming up in March, 24th, and I'm kind of struggling on what I'm gonna do, you know, because I know when I do something, I go through this feeling for like a day or two, and I don't like it because it's a bad feeling, right? And some people go through that feeling every day, every day, every day, every day. But I just go through it for 1 or 2 days. But it just brings me kind of peace of being around her friends and my family on those days.
Thank you both.
Thanks.
So, ladies, this question is, do you find yourself feeling anger or resentment towards your child for their choices? Or has grief evolved in a way that allows you to understand their struggles more empathetically?
So me, I get angry at my daughter. You know what I mean? And I could just say that. I could be honest. I get angry. I'm like, you left me here with your daughter, right? I'm young. I'm 46 years old. I'm like, when this happened, I was 43. Um, I can't move the way I really want to move. So yeah, I'm angry at my daughter. And then I just, step back and say, I forgive her though. You know what I mean? Because I knew she was going through some things, in her life. So I do forgive her, but every now and then, if a situation come up, I get angry because I be like, this ain't fair. You know what I mean? Like you left me with your problems, and it's heavy because I have other things going on in my life, and this just added a bigger layer. But I do forgive my daughter. You know what I mean? And I love her, and that's it. But it's okay for me to feel anger sometimes because it's just a natural feeling.
Thank you so much for your honesty,
You're
Marjorie.
welcome.
Lois, how about you?
Well, I'm up and down, um, but I'm mostly still angry. I'm still angry at God. That's all right too, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just angry because He didn't allow me in His life the way I really want it to be. Like with the jail calls. Um, I was talking to him and I shut him out for 6 months because he kept disrespecting me on the phone from jail, and he wouldn't go to a rehab when he got out. He wasn't planning his get out to do the right thing. And I stopped talking to him for 6 months. And I kept praying that he would turn his life around. I kept praying to God. I even put his name in the prayer box. And that call came in.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, that call came in, and I'm still dealing with it. I'm still trying to work through it. Um, but I talked to him. I had that dream where I saw him, and he said, "Ma, I forgive you," and I told him I forgive him, and I was getting ready to give him a hug, and he disappeared. And so, and I haven't dreamed about him for 3 years since that day, that dream. And so I'm like up and down, up and down with it because I got clean. I got clean for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I got clean, hoping that they would see me and watch me and turn their lives around. And it just didn't happen.
So, this is our last question. You know, you ladies are so beautiful, and you know, it takes a lot to be able to sit here and talk about, your pain, your journey that you're on. And I'm so honored
Thank you.
to be a part of your story. So, last question. How do you speak about your child's story? And what message do you hope it conveys to others regarding the dangers of substance use and the impact it has on families?
Well, when I speak about Tamari's story, I just be real, I just say, Tamari didn't think she was doing anything wrong. She thought she used to just party with friends and do what she do and come home. But June 28th, that didn't happen. And a lot of the younger generation now, they're doing things and enabling, engaging in risky behaviors. And I just let them know, like, eventually you either get clean or stop, or eventually you can die from this. It's no in between. It's you have to get clean and try to get help, or eventually you will pass away. You know what I mean? And I just tell them that. I just try to be real with them. It might be fun, you know what I mean? But it's not, because death don't seem fun, because you leave people that's hurting behind, and it's just like grief is messy. And my daughter was like a firecracker. That's how I'm gonna say. And I will always say her name, and I will always bring her in spaces, because when I do that, and I will always share pictures and videos of her because I have tons. I just slow down a little bit, but when I do that, it keeps her memory alive, and people don't forget her. Her friends won't forget her. My friends won't forget her. My loved ones won't forget her, because I'm not gonna forget her. You know what I mean? So that's how I honor Tamari. And eventually I do want to do like a scholarship in Tamari's name. Like last Christmas, or no, this school year, I brought 3 families who lost their loved ones to fentanyl poisoning sneakers, and I came out of my money. I didn't fundraise or any of that. But eventually I do want to fundraise, you know what I mean? Because that gives me hope that people giving back to me so I can give back to someone else in need. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no love out there in them streets in that lifestyle.
Mm.
I used to always say that to my sons. Um, I'm just, I'm just still angry because deep down in my heart, right, all this, what I'm saying and everything, I know my son was murdered.
Mm.
And that's it. And I'm still trying to get. I don't have any closure, you know. And up there in Vermont, Burlington, Vermont, they just swept him under the rug.
Mm.
Because I hear it's been 3 years now, almost 3 to 4 years. No word, nothing, nothing from the detectives, the people that he got set up with, because I think the girl was an informant. I'm not going to go too deep, but he, they put that fentanyl, they killed him. That's all I have to say. I'm still angry. I'm angry. I'm still angry, but there's nothing I can do but turn it over and keep praying.
Mm.
Moms, I love you. And to end this, I want you to yell out their names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tamari.
Yay!
Thank you for having us, Janice.
You're
Mad
welcome.
Moms.
Yes. Mad Moms, Mad Moms.
I know.
What you gonna do? Mad Moms, Mad
I
Moms
know.
for you.
Thank you.